Good morning, everyone. So I am not at school today, and I have recorded myself reading this and discussing this article on the Middle Colonies for you to use in history class today. So yesterday, if you were in your groups, you read part of this article already, and you can skip to the part that you have done already so that you can continue on and finish the article. For those of you who were not here yesterday, I want you to start at the beginning and follow along with us. So the thing we talked about yesterday was in a piece of informational text like this that is nonfiction, there are things called text features. And one of the text features that you will see often in informational text is a title at the very beginning. Now you might see a title in narrative text or fictional text as well, but a title is one of the key text features that we look at to gain information before reading. Another text feature that we want to always look at before we start reading are the headings. So we have this heading here called Geography of the Middle Colonies. There's this one here called New York and New Jersey. On the back page you have a heading that says Pennsylvania and Delaware. And down here at the bottom you have another one that is called Growth and Change. Now I want you to go ahead and highlight the titles and the headings. And after you highlight them, I want you to write next to them what they are so that you can remember that. And you only need to write heading next to one of the headings to help yourself remember. In addition to titles and headings, there are often bolded words in a text, such as this one right here that says proprietary colony. The reason authors or textbook companies put bold words into a text, usually a textbook, is because they want you to pay attention to those words. They're important words that they want you to know. So right now, we're just going to go through here and highlight those bolded words. So highlight proprietary colony, then go to the back, and up here at the top it says Royal Colony. A little bit further down here you can see William Penn. And then down in this last section it says Backcountry. After you've highlighted those, go back to the first word you highlighted here. And I just want you to label it with the terms bold words. And I'm having you do that because I want you to remember that before you read a piece of text that is nonfiction, especially something like this that you might find in one of your classes or in a textbook, I want you to make sure and look at those text features before you start reading. Those text features will help you get an idea of what the piece will be about before you even read anything at all. Okay, so if you haven't finished that yet, go ahead and pause. If you're finished highlighting and labeling those parts, we're going to go back up here to the top and we are going to begin reading. And we're going to start by reading this section that says Section 3, Focus Question. It says, how did the diverse Middle Colonies develop and thrive? To begin answering this question, read about the geography of the Middle Colonies, learn about how New York and New Jersey became English, find out how Pennsylvania and Delaware were founded, and understand how the Middle Colonies became so diverse. And I want us to go ahead and highlight the focus question because this will help us as we're reading too. It's going to give us a purpose for reading. We're going to be looking for the answer to this question. How did the diverse Middle Colonies develop and thrive? Okay, so now we're going to go on to the next section, starting right here where it says the Middle Colonies. The Middle Colonies' soil and climate were good for farming. Quakers founded Pennsylvania and Delaware. Europeans from many countries settled the Middle Colonies. Geography of the Middle Colonies. The Middle Colonies were New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. The Hudson River flows south through eastern New York. It empties into the Atlantic Ocean at New York City. New Jersey is mostly lowland along the Atlantic coast. Pennsylvania's largest city, Philadelphia, is located on the Delaware River on lowlands in the southeast. Delaware is located south of New Jersey and also lies along the Atlantic coast. The warmer, longer growing season and fertile soil made farming easier in the Middle Colonies than in New England. Farmers grew wheat, fruits, and vegetables. Now we see here that there is a check mark, which lets me know that there is a checkpoint question over here on the side. And the checkpoint question says, list the 4 states that made up the Middle Colonies. So in this paragraph right here, you need to go back and highlight the 4 Middle Colonies, and once you find those, I want you to write them here in this section. You will be turning in this paper after you are finished with it completely for a grade. So make sure that you fill in the questions as we go along. You should pause now and finish completing that question. When you are finished, come back here and we will continue. Okay, so we're going to continue on with the next section with the heading New York and New Jersey. New York was originally called New Netherland and was ruled by the Dutch. By 1660, Dutch farmers, fur traders, and merchants in the Hudson River Valley prospered. New Netherland blocked travel between England's northern and southern colonies. In 1664, England's King Charles II gave the Dutch land to his brother James, who conquered it. The colony was renamed New York, after James, the Duke of York. New Amsterdam, its capital, became New York City. New Jersey was established in 1665, when part of southern New York was split off into a new colony. It began as a proprietary colony, or a colony created by a grant of land from a monarch to an individual or family. So let's pause here for a second because I want to look at this word that we already highlighted because it was a bold word, proprietary colony. And this is an example of how you can use context clues to figure out what a word means, even if you don't know already. So right after it, we can tell it has a comma right after this group of words. So often if we see that comma, that lets us know that afterwards it's going to either give us a definition or an explanation of some kind. So this actually gives us a definition here, and it tells us that a proprietary colony is a colony created by a grant of land from a monarch to an individual or family, and you do need to highlight that. What that means is that a person or a group of people was given a piece of paper, a document that said, you own a piece of land in the New World, and this was given to that person or group of people by a monarch, and a monarch is a king or a queen. And when they went and formed this colony, they were completely in charge. The king and queen were no longer in charge. Power was given completely to that person or family. Okay? So that's a proprietary colony. Now we're going to continue reading right here where it says in 1702. In 1702, it became a royal colony, a colony directly controlled by the English king. New York became a royal colony in 1685. Okay, so now we're going to stop again and we're going to talk about this term royal colony. And it's the same situation where they have given us context clues to help us understand what that term means. And it says here, a colony directly controlled by the English king. So a royal colony was different than a proprietary colony because a royal colony was actually controlled by the king or queen of England, whereas a proprietary colony was controlled by the person or family or group that started that colony. I also see here that there is a checkpoint question. So going over to the side, it says, explain why the English wanted Dutch colonial land. You're going to have to go back to the first page to find this answer. You are going to look, and I'll show you the section here, because this one is a little bit of a tricky question. You want to look right here in this section for the answer. It's not going to tell you directly, this is the reason why England wanted the land. But think about, when you read that section, what reason does it give in there that England might want that land that was controlled by the Netherlands? What was going on there that England might want to have control of that land instead of Netherlands? So, think about that. Highlight the part where you think it gives you the answer, and then I want you to go over to the next page and put your answer up there at the top. When you are finished doing both of those things, come back here and we will continue on reading the rest of it. Okay, going on to the third section titled Pennsylvania and Delaware. In the 1640s and 1650s, new religious groups emerged in England. The Quakers believed that all people are equal, have a direct link with God, and therefore do not need ministers. By the 1660s, thousands of English Quakers refused to pay taxes to support the Church of England. To provide safety from persecution, William Penn, a wealthy Quaker leader, used his connections with King Charles II to get a charter for a new colony. In 1681, he received an area nearly as large as England. Penn viewed his colony as a holy experiment to see if people from different religions could live peacefully. In 1682, he wrote his frame of government for Pennsylvania, which granted an elected assembly and freedom of religion. He did not allow colonists to settle on land until Native Americans sold it to them. The first European settlers in Delaware were Swedish. Delaware settlers were opposed to sending delegates to a distant Philadelphia. Penn gave the area its own assembly, and in 1704, Delaware became a separate colony. Okay, so we have a couple of different things to do in this section as part of our checkpoint. First, there is this reading strategy, and the reading strategy asks us to underline 3 beliefs that brought Quakers into conflict with the Church of England. You can underline these or you can highlight them. Either way is just fine. But that section is right here in this bracketed area. Go ahead in there and highlight the 3 beliefs that Quakers had that made them have conflicts with the Church of England. You don't have to write anything down, but you do need to highlight those 3 beliefs. The second thing you need to do is you need to answer this checkpoint question, which says, state how William Penn viewed his colony. And so you're going to go back here, and I'll point you in the right direction for this too. It's going to be in this section of the text. So go back, reread that area of the text, highlight how William Penn viewed his colony, and then make sure to write your answer over here as well.